You swear it's written in the stars. You're a fire sign, all spark and impatience, and they're water, slow and deep. It feels like the universe leaned down and pressed two magnets together just to watch them catch. Almost every zodiac compatibility chart relies heavily on this exact poetry. Aries and Libra sit directly across the wheel from each other, creating a perfect geometric mirror. Taurus faces off against Scorpio. We call it magnetic tension. The whole language of opposite signs is incredibly seductive. It makes attraction feel intentional, as if our differences were handed down by the sky specifically so we could fill in each other's gaps. We lean on the opposites attract myth as a cosmic guarantee of balance, treating these celestial blueprints as a promise that we'll find the exact pieces we lack in someone else. Here is the uncomfortable starting point. Since the 1950s, social psychologists have run hundreds of separate studies trying to find empirical proof that opposing personalities actually pull each other together. When researchers look for evidence of that magnetic tension, they come back spectacularly empty-handed. They tested matching attitudes, different temperaments, the whole spectrum. Their conclusion is blunt. There is an irrefutable link between being similar to someone and being interested in them. The scientific data quietly refuses to support the most romanticized love story astrology sells us. If you suspect the older research might be missing the nuances of modern dating, let's look at a 2023 study published in the journal Nature Human Behavior. Researchers analyzed over 300 traits across millions of couples, creating a dataset so massive it is essentially looking at love from orbit. This chart shows the staggering reality of who we choose. Depending on how you slice the data, partners line up on between 82 and 89% of the traits measured: your politics, your education, how much you drink, how anxious you tend to be. Couples match on these metrics far more often than chance would predict. Now, look what happens when we isolate the percentage of traits where opposites actually attracted. The visualization drastically shrinks down to around 3%. 3. The only major exception researchers found was with personality traits like extroversion versus introversion. Pairing a bubbly extrovert with a quiet introvert isn't doomed, but it also isn't a secret rule of attraction. Statistically, it operates exactly like flipping a coin. A century of evidence suggests we don't fall for our opposites. We fall, over and over, for our echoes. Birds of a feather really do flock together. So why does the opposite sign romance feel so entirely right to us? A 2008 study by researchers Pieternel Dijkstra and Dick Barolds caught a quiet little contradiction living inside all of us. When they asked people to describe their ideal partner in the abstract, the overwhelming majority asked for a complementary match. They wanted someone different enough to tame their chaos or anchor their spontaneity, someone to balance out their own flaws. But when the researchers looked at who those exact same people actually dated, the answers flipped. The highly organized planner eventually found comfort with another highly organized planner. The actual heart wanted recognition, not contrast. Our minds protect the cosmic myth through basic confirmation bias. We spotlight the rare loud exceptions, the couples where the loud extrovert and the shy introvert manage to make it work, while completely ignoring the thousands of quiet couples who share the exact same values. Astrology thrives in the gap between what we say and what we do. It offers a flattering story about bravely loving a total contrast, even as our hearts secretly seek out the safety of recognition. This leaves us with a fascinating problem. If the scientific data contradicts the chart, why does astrological compatibility still feel so accurate when you're living it? The answer lies in a psychological concept called the self-fulfilling prophecy, which might be the single most underrated force in relationship dynamics. When you read that you and your partner are a destined opposite sign match, you behave like it's true. You offer more grace, you extend more patience, you take a cold text message and interpret it as mysterious depth instead of plain disinterest. This newfound harmony is a product of your own effort, built piece by piece through the specific costume the stars handed you. This pie chart shows a famous finding from relationship researcher John Gottman. Look at this massive section representing 69%. That is the exact percentage of problems in a long-term relationship that are perpetual. They never get fully solved. The happiest couples aren't the ones devoid of differences. They are simply the ones who learn to navigate and dance with those perpetual clashes over the years. In this light, similarity acts as the initial spark that opens the door. while those unavoidable differences become the tools you use to furnish the room. So it's time to stop using zodiac charts as literal predictions. Don't let an app talk you into forcing a doomed match. And definitely don't let it convince you to abandon a wonderful, similar partner just because your elements supposedly clash. Instead, treat the chart as a mirror. Reading that Aries and Libra balance each other gives you a vocabulary to reflect on your internal needs. It helps you put words to your impatience or your desire for someone who might slow you down. The universe doesn't push opposites together just to watch the sparks. Astrology is simply a tool to help us understand ourselves so we can finally recognize the people who feel like home.